Hello and welcome to my shop. This is Jim Dedman, Sawlogs Plastic Hubs. Hope you enjoyed today's video. We'll be doing something interesting, so hang around, let's have fun. Okay, this is something I've been kind of kicking around in my head, is to do one of these saws. The main reason I want it, you see this throat here. I don't have enough throat on the portaband. And when you're doing flat pieces of metal, you've seen a lot of videos where I've had to flip it and stuff, like doing the aluminum pieces for the table fixtures and stuff. So this, you have a 12-inch throat, so you got a lot more room to work. This isn't a 14. I did investigate blades before I went. I know this was in the auction, and I had a price point in mind of paying for it. So basically I bought the 12-inch saw for $50, and it is working. The one thing about it is it's been in a building stored, and there's been some mice in it, but everything looks in order. So the one thing is I'm going to make a smaller metal table to hold the saw so it can be rolled, moved from one point of the shop to the next. I've got some bed rail which makes excellent framing, and it's going to be on wheels because it'll be rolled in a corner because of my shop space and brought out as I need it. I'm looking into doing a jack shaft. It's part of the reason I'm out here this morning, because I'm going to take some measurements of some things and find some information out, take some more pictures, and basically get with somebody who's going to give me proper pulleys for a jack shaft. Mr. Pete's video on these, he had his best success with a pull gear, which is like damn near impossible to find. The DC motor sounds appealing, but then I got to spend more money hunting the motor up. The gearbox may be an option, but I really like the idea of the jack shaft since I've got to build the stands. If I do a jack shaft conversion, I can get it. Let me push the camera down a little bit. See if I can see here. Let me get it down here. Yeah, I can push the camera. I can get this piece here moved down to give me to build all that down here on an angle to fit it inside the box. So that is kind of my plan. There's some other junk here with it, and we'll be doing a series of videos. So this morning I'm out here measuring, and I'm shooting some video while I'm at it, so that we'll put this in the future slot in the shop. That plastic was laying with this is why I got it. The truth of the matter is that one piece of plastic is probably worth half of what I paid for this saw if I had to go buy it, or better. Probably a $30 or $40 piece of material. So I'm coming out ahead of the game on this. Morning. You see this piece of delrin right here? It's 28 inches long. And it's approximately 2 inches by 2 inches square. You're going to see another clip here in a few minutes of a purchase. I went to a state auction yesterday, and I've been looking for an item, and I will show you in a few minutes what it is. So the item I bought that I was looking for, this was laying on it and got included in the deal. So my plan for this square piece, you'll see in an upcoming video. I'm going to make me a piece of round out of it. And you might say, well, Jim, that's a waste. Well, I've got a lot of square delrin, very little round, and it's very expensive material. So I'm going to basically find centers on each end and drill a hole and put a dog on it, and I'm going to turn it into a part. So that make me like a good 2 foot round piece of delrin or so out of it. It may finish up just a hair over 1.5 inches actually, because it's 2 inches. It may be 1 3/4 when I'm done. Good morning. This is a follow-up on auction purchases. You've seen this plastic, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to do as old saying, as one of my ex-wives said, we're going to take a square peg and make it to fit a round hole. So with no further ado, let's get started. What we've done is we've marked this thing similar to a woodworker, and we've marked it in these corners, and we're going to take a drill and we're just going to put a center in it, just like that. Okay, I got to do the other side just like that. Hopefully you'll see that. Okay, let me get you back on. Now again, I've done this with wood, with 2x4s years and years ago to make fishing plugs on a wooden lathe. Never on a metal lathe. So what I'm proposing to do is I got to get the stuff. I'm just going to put a lag bolt in it. I'll need something on this end to hold it in my drive dog. Like that, just like that. That should hold it. I'll leave this out so when I get in. Now I got to find some other stuff, so give me a few minutes. I'm letting the lathe run a minute. It's pretty cold in the shop. Let it get up some temperature in the spindle. But that's my sketchy setup. Now we're not cutting much, and I'll shut this thing off and show you what we've got. Turn this around here, and we've got over here in this one side, we just got a 1/2 inch bolt for that to fit in. So I'm going to reposition the camera, let the lathe run a minute, and we'll bring you back. Okay, I went back and took a little more of a cut. This is actually the first cut on it. I'm going to edit the other one out. And basically, I just went in and took a cut and let her roll. I'm standing. You got my view from the tripod back here. That's the longest piece of stock I've ever put in this lathe, by the way. And I did have to take about 6 inches off to make sure I'd have, or I could actually turn it. So it's not the full length that I wanted, but hey, again, it's a piece of material. And I will repeat this. The only reason I'm doing this is basically, well, straightforward, free material. I didn't pay any extra for it. Probably the material is worth what I paid for my saw. So all I'm doing is making this stock into something that I'm going to use, and I've got a 6-inch piece of square. I've got a lot of square stock. So for me, this waste is going to be really acceptable. I wouldn't advise you to go out and buy a delrin and do this. So I tell people sometimes machining is as much art as it is science. Well, that's the science right there. I got to thinking with that whipping, besides running the RPM up, I went back and got an aluminum insert, which has got a little bit more designed for a little freer cutting instead of just using the steel one. That seemed to take that whip out of the center. Oh, you ain't gonna outsmart a country boy. My good friend Tom down at Hilltop sent me up a couple of aluminum inserts that he had picked up, and I put one of them things in, and boy, now that's doing it. Took the whip out of the middle. We bumped the RPM up to 800, and we're rolling across that delrin. We're going to have a round piece here pretty soon. Like I say, there's no specific size or finish requirements. This is just going to be stock material for my stock lap. So we're continuing on with making the round peg to take the square peg to make the round hole. So I'll bring you back when we get the dang thing completely round. It's getting rounder as we go. So yeah, just thought I'd throw another clip in. All right, I'm going to zoom you in here. This should be maybe the last cut. And then we're going to have a round piece of stock. There's only just a little bit of a flat on the one end. The middle seems to be round, a little flat on each end and not much of one. So what I've done is I went in and touched the flat and went about another 20 thousandths. So hopefully this should be it. Okay, now there's a few faults with it, and there's a little different finishes. The finishes is not as good. Could be a little rougher in the middle. But all in all, I've got a round piece of stock now I can use to make other things out of. I checked it. Basically, we're running about 1" 940 on this end. It's got about 10 thousandths taper. Now, how much of that is the lathe misalignment? How much of that is the material whooping around thin material? So basically what we have is basically a 1" 950 thousandths piece of plastic. Round shaft, a round piece that I can put in my bin. So if I need something of that size, now I have from a 2x2 square that basically I have no investment in. And I'm well pleased how this turned out. And this is a science experiment to a certain degree, but the idea here is to try to, it's trying to figure, when I seen it, I grabbed it up and seen it, man, I can use it for something. And then the more I thought about it, the more I decided, well, if I turn this into a round, I can use this for some material. And when you have a lot of material laying around, I've got a lot of this stuff laying around that I picked up in different places, and hey, this is a winner. I was at this, actually, believe it or not, I got a bunch of these square blocks out in my rack. So I decided to grab a couple of them up and put these in the mill. And they just had to be big enough they'll hold. And we're going to just, we're actually making some more rounds. Because I've got plenty of flats, but this is just to show you what's possible. Since I'm set up, it's not a big deal. These are short pieces I've had, and I done forgot where I got them, but they come somehow. They've been laying in my stock bin for a while. So I've done one. Basically, we're driving these right off the square. I've actually probably got this one a little, when I'm hearing it move like that, it's always good when you hear them move, stop, tighten them up. And again, this is just a piece of material I have. This ain't nothing. I've not went out and bought, I done forgot. Sometimes I get material, quite frankly, some of it come from eating a long time ago, and they used to let us take stuff home. I probably picked this up out of a scrap bin or something like that and didn't have no cost in it. And so while I'm at it, I've got 3 or 4 of these blocks out, because I'm always needing round material to turn something down the lathe. And so just to kind of show you what's possible, and just a bunch of passes. While I was into the other, I thought I'd just grab it up and kind of knock it out. I've already turned one down, and the only thing that's holding it is the nut on the square, actually. This is larger material. So if you'll notice, the nut's just holding the square right there. Now this has some holes in it, so it was made for something. So I'm taking some really aggressive cuts at 1,000 RPM. So I'll just take these air blocks and put them in my bin, and when I need them, I can always turn the other end down when I got the 3-jaw on. One day. So see, all I'm doing is I'm just turning them to the flats. And what you can do, see, I just laid these in the mill. And these are just put in my mill. Squared it up. Drill the center hole. The same thing as what I did with the long ones. And while I'm set up between centers, the real advantage of this is I'm not going to lose. I can make basically anything I want out of it. I don't have a hole problem basically in the part. So with that being said, that's what you get. That's right there's the time it took for me to turn one of these down. So I've got, I think, one more I'm going to do. I've laid out. That's giving me 3 of these. That'll be plenty. I hope you enjoyed the video. So let's put a disclaimer out of the way. This video is my idea how to do things. It's not the only way. So I hope you enjoyed it today. The other thing, comments are always welcome. Please take the time, if you feel so inclined, to make a comment on my videos. Also, I appreciate all my subscribers, the new ones and the new ones. And finally, the other disclaimer. This is a copyrighted production of James Dedman, Sawlogs Plastic Hubs, for your enjoyment on YouTube. Thank you, have a great day, and we will see you in the next video.